todos. Welcome to the second episode of Boldcastmtg in English, the number 46 for the total episodes of the podcast. Today we are gonna talk about the LCOS, which stands for Old School Catalan League in his Premodern variant. LCOS was born many years ago. They are about to play their 100th tournament in next August here in Barcelona, and they began doing a monthly meetup of all school, and as far as I know, changing formats between X-Points, Swedish, and other old school variants. Sorry, I am by any means an expert of old school, and I only know that they make that monthly meetup and they switch between formats in the old school world in order to have some different kinds of games. I know there are different if you are playing X points, or if you are playing Swedish, or if you are playing with Fallen Empires or without Fallen Empires. I know they change in order to be able to change between decks and between metagames, but I cannot help you anymore by now. I tell this because 3.5 years ago, beginning 2022, they decided to begin also a pre-modern monthly meetup called Lleague as well, but it's not a league in a sense that we want people to compete, we check the points and we make final standings at the end of the year or the season in order to do prizes based in performance or invitationals based on performance. We only meet up and play. There are, of course, prizes for competing and for doing well, but that's not the most important part. The most important part, and one of the basic rules at any LCOS tournament, is we are here for the gathering. If you are not here for the gathering, if you are an asshole, please don't return. We will make our best to spend our limited amount of time that we can dedicate to the cards to have a great time. We want nothing that could make that experience worse. So we are in January 2022 and LCOS begins to make monthly meetups. We made it at a bar. We are not supported by any LGS. We are not supported by any other structure that it's not the LCOS itself, because we want to have control in what we do, fomenting the good vibes, the good times, and the really amazing gathering. But that's a tournament, and we have a structure for that tournament. That tournament is composed of 5 rounds of Swiss. It doesn't matter if we are 35 or 15 people. It's always gonna be 5 rounds of Swiss. We are not allowed to make intentional draws. That's not part of our spirit. We are here to play. So we are here to play the 5 rounds, and then a cut to the top 8. The top 8 receives a patch. Every year we change it. Last year it was the astonishing, amazing, call it as you want, Doraitok, made by Miguel Ginel. And if you are listening to this in YouTube, you are seeing that Doraitok right now. I think it's really amazing. In 2023, we were giving a Phantom Nishova in the best Ghostbusters performance, a forbidden sign with the Nishova inside, because there was a time where Phantom Nishova was everywhere, was winning games with Oath many times. Remember that time? Right now Phantom Nishova is almost unplayed. That gives for another episode that maybe I can do further. If you want it, you only have to ask it. I will do my best to talk about anything you want me to talk. If you want me to talk about anything. And in 2025, there are the 2 monkeys that really matters, the Octavio Orangutan art. Not the main orangutan, but the 2 monkeys that are having a good time behind him. If you know, you know. And also the winner wins a playmat with the same art that is showcased in the patches. For the top 9, we have a special prize, because it was so close to make to the top 8, but it wasn't possible, and it is that we award him with a quarter of patch, and he has the infamous honor of making the top 8 picture. Yes, this is the Hall of Shame. But you may be thinking that if this is all that we have to give to our players, and the answer is absolutely not. We have an entry of €9, and all of the euros go straight to the prizes, and with the patches and the playmats, it's not enough. So we spend the rest of our money buying staples of Premodern in order to make a raffle between all the participants. At the beginning of the last round, we call every single table that is on the tournament, as they are paid for the last round, and they compete for one prize. So at least half of the people goes home with some prize, some patch, some playmat, something to remember the day that they have had. We also, in December, make a charity tournament that this is now called Ayudar Rugiendo, and we made it to support some local, I don't know who is it said in English, non-governmental organizations, things like animal shelters and that kind of things. And then all the prizes are given by raffle, and they are donated by the participants. So that is a raffle, not as the one as I have told you before, but a raffle by buying tickets in order to win the prizes. All of that comes to the last tournament played at June the 22nd, where I was playing, of course, because since January 2025, I am the visual face of the organization of that tournament. We are lots of people doing lots of work behind the cams, but since January, I am the one that you can call if you have any problem. You have to reach out in order to play a tournament. I run the tournaments, I run the rounds, I run the top 8s, I run the prizes. But it is a group team, but I am the one that is in front of all of this. And in June, we were, if I'm not wrong, 28 Titans that gathered at La Camperia Granollers. That's not our usual place to play. Our usual place to play is Bar Olympia in Barcelona, but since the beginning of the year, 1, 2, or 3 times per year, we are moving outside Barcelona in order to make it a real Catalan league, as far as we can. And the 28 Titans gathered in order to get the patches, get the playmats, and get the glory. And in that tournament, I played Sweet Nightmares. What is Sweet Nightmares, may you ask? And I will answer. Sweet Nightmares is the name I have for recurring survival. It has nightmares, recurring nightmares, but it is very sweet to play. So, Sweet Nightmare it is. Why did I play Sweet Nightmares in June? Well, so far in LCOS this year, I have played 4 decks. Both in January and February, I played Suited Shrimps because I was testing with the deck for the Epic. In March, I played with Goblins, Mono Red Goblins, for the same reason that I played Suited Shrimps in January and February. I played Blue Red Devourer on April. May is not a good spot in order to say what deck I played, because we made a special event that we make every year that is called 3 Wishes, in which we play with 3 different decks without sideboard. The traditional wishes are not allowed, as cooning, living, burning, etc. And we play each game with 1 different deck. So for the first game, you pick up 1 of the 3 decks. For the second game, you pick the second of the 3 decks. And if there is a third game, you pick the third deck that you haven't picked during this round. We are very inclined to do that kind of things. Every year we have a couple or 3 tournaments that are not exactly pre-modern, but are based on pre-modern, as that 3 Wishes. Also, we have our Black Summer, that I think that LobsterCon popularized it as Unchained. That is a pre-modern tournament, but you can play 1 single card from the banned list. Up to 4 copies, from 1 to 4, and only 1 of the cards. So if you want to play Force of Will in Mono Blue Dreadnought, congrats, you are really clever. That's a very good card to play in that deck. But you can play that, but you cannot play it with also Brainstorm, and you cannot play 2 Force of Wills and 2 Brainstorms. You have to play up to 4 copies of one of the cards on the ban list. We also make one rogue tournament per year, usually at the Ayudar Rugiendo, and where you cannot play decks that are established. And that's all for now. And we come back to Sweet Nightmares and why I played Sweet Nightmares. I played Sweet Nightmares because the day before the tournament, on June the 21st, I had 3 Premodern decks ready to play, knowing that one of the decks would be borrowed to Albert Pajuelo in order to him to play red green goblins, because he wanted to play the red army to K25. And also I had ready to play a You Are Devourer or Corrupt Devourer, as my friends and I called it, because I was testing it in order to see if this is a deck with legs to play it at some big tournaments like the Spanish Nuts that will take place at the end of October. And also I had in my bag Sweet Nightmares, because that was the deck that was played in my last webcam tournament. The last round of my last webcam tournament, I played Recurrent Survival and also put it on my bag to go to play. At 3 a.m. that in the morning, 3 a.m. in the morning before the tournament, one good friend of mine, David Gonzalez, asked for a deck because he had no time to prepare one for the tournament. And I said to him at 7:30 when I wake up, don't worry, I bring one deck to you. I let him choose between Devourer and Recurrent Survival, and just because he had played Recurrent Survival 1 month ago, because the same picture happened, he was gonna play a tournament and he had no deck, and I lent him the Recurrent Survival. He wanted to try Devourer, so I ended up playing Sweet Nightmares. If you are on YouTube watching and listening to this podcast, you may have seen that I have changed the screen in order to show you the list I played on the tournament. This is a recurring Nightmare deck based on the amazing work of Phil 3579, aka Phil Bunch of Numbers, a Magic Online player that I have seen playing this deck lots of time. I also know that William Hurst on his Patreon, go follow him if you already don't do it. I suppose all of you are doing it, but if you are not doing, go follow him. He makes lots of good quality content. Please follow him. And after reading the Patreon, watching Phil playing the deck, and also being a person who loves to play that kind of things, but doesn't like to play the rock as it is with the pernicious DDC. The deck fits very well on my spot. I have seen now that there is a little mistake. The list is as it is, but I made a change and I haven't changed it on my visual view. If you are seeing a Crossland Tasker, don't look for it. That Ghost and Tasker is not in the deck anymore, and in his place I am playing a Tempting Worm. I had to play a Tempting Worm because I wanted to show my Japanese Tempting Worms, because here in Spain, whatever who has listened to the podcast I do in Spain know that I am a very advocate for Tempting Worms in lots of places, except that I am not agree by any means on his price, on his, to an extent, artificial price, because let's face it, that's a good card, but that's not a 15, 17 euros a card. But well, that's another topic for another full episode, the prices of the pre-modern staples and not so staples. Besides of the change, the list remains exactly the same with his 22 lands, 2 Seat of Brass, 4 Januar Wastes, 7 Swamps, 8 Forest, and 1 Gaia's Cradle. I think that nowadays nobody's playing Gaia's Cradles but me. I know that's not any single way to search for it. It's not really profitable in bigs as it can be in elves, but it's one land. If I drew it and if I can exploit it for one turn, I will be happy. Besides that, we play 7 discards with 4 Cabal Therapy and 3 Duresses, 2 Recurring Nightmares, 4 Survival of the Fittest, 1 Mesmeric Fiend, 4 Birds of Paradise, 7 Walls, 4 of Roots, 3 of Blossoms, 1 Yavimaya Elder, 1 Squee. We play Survival. At least one of the goblins that you never want to cast must be played. 1 Bonus Raider, 1 Withered Wretch, 1 Masticor, 1 Graveyard Muse, 1 Nantuko Vigilante, 1 Genesis, and a couple of Ravenous Baloth. That's the main. The side containing 3 Naturalizes, the second Withered Wretch, 2 Smother, 2 Savage Web, 1 Faceless Butcher, 1 Octavio Orangutan, the third Ravenous Baloth, and 4 Engineered Plague. That's one of the main reasons to play the deck. Playing black, playing for Engineered Plague gives you a very good pairing against elves and against goblins. It also helps, not so much, but helps a little against Enchantress in order to kill that Argothian, and also, depending which way they choose to win, they can be useless. Nowadays, if everybody follows the trend created by Rich Say and all the make Enchantress great again, Cabal, Engineered Plague is no good anymore, but it can also kill some Argothian Enchantress. So we began the tournament, and there were, as I told you before, 5 rounds of Swiss and I got to the top 8. And now I'm gonna make a very brief report of how did the deck treated me and my opponents. In round 1, I played against Joan Galvan playing Mono Black Contamination. That was my first time playing against Mono Black Contamination with this deck, but I think that if he wants to go trading 1-for-1 and trying to base all his advantage in form of Skeletal Scrying and some Contamination log, I can survive rather good in first game, and I can take so good advantage in games 2 and 3. And that's more or less how it worked for me in that round. First round, I duress him in turn 1, Cabal Therapy, Birds of Paradise into Cabal Therapy Flashback to leave his hand empty. And from here, Survival of the Fittest and some activations in order to get some the Withered Wretch in order to don't let their Wincon, their Nether Spirit return from the graveyard, and from here go winning in a very slow pace. That's the main problem I have with the deck. You can control the game fairly well and fairly quickly, but you cannot change wheels and being aggressive as fast, and the games go longer than you may want. And it may conclude you to having some unintentional draws that can take you out of any tournament. So you have to be prepared to be efficient with your decisions. You have to take decisions and take decisions fast in order to end the rounds in time. And that's one of the reasons because I didn't bring the deck to the Epic. Because in timed rounds, even if there are for 60 minutes, I felt not comfortable at all in order to play it in a proper way. The second game went more or less like the first. It was even longer because he put a couple of Nether Spirits in front of me and I only had 2 to 3 walls to contain his attack, and also a zombie infestation put 1 zombie and then was neutralized. But in the end I ended up drawing my Survival of the Fittest and beginning the Survivfest. Discarding, searching, finding, and controlling the board in a very fashionable way. In round 2, I played against Mario Manzieri playing Replenish. Well, there is one person at our league that plays Replenish. That person is Mario Manzieri, a very good player and a very good person. That is something that maybe I don't say for all the people, but all my opponents and all the people that were playing last Sunday were all amazing. And he was playing Replenish, as I have said, and my plan against Replenish is so clear. Play 14 Goblin Luckies. But that's not the deck to do it, so I have to take another plan, and that plan is go discard him and trying to find a Withered Wretch as fast as I can in order to keep in check their Replenish and their graveyard. The plan went well, helped by a little mana screw in the second game in the Mario side, but in the first game I made 2 discards in 3 turns, and then I landed the Survival of the Fittest, searched for the Withered Wretch, and wait for the game to end in a fast way. Fast in the terms of Survey Rock, not in general terms. Mario was playing their Parallax Waves in order to keep me out of the survival train, just letting me have no land in 1-2 turns and then sacrificing the Parallax Wave, returning, I think that not was a very specially good plan, but that was the one that he had with the cards that I left him in hand. And it worked well for me, and it did not work well for him. So I ended up winning 2-0, and we are now 2-0 in rounds. And we face the third round against Oscar Diaz with 10 land Stompy. A very curious 10 land Stompy because he was playing Werewere. That's the first time I saw Werewere being played on 10 land Stompy. He told me that he wanted to try them and they did not make the cut, so they are going out of the deck, but he wanted to try them. That pairing has no story. If I can live up to the turn 5, I'm fairly ahead on the game, and if I die before the turn 5, I'm dead, so my opponent wins. Again, I have walls, that's what we play 7 of them. 1 or 2 Birds of Paradise has to do the most sacrifice in order to make me live, but I can survive until I find a Reverse Baloth or a Masticore or something as big as the creatures to survive, to recover, and to change wheels and go for the win. No, that pairing has no more story. In round 4, I play against Narcismir playing Enchantress, and man, that is a horrible matchup for Recurrent Survival, at least in my little experience. You have discard, but not so much discard, in order to don't let him make his engine on. You cannot deal with their enchantments main except by 1 Nantuko Vigilante, and you cannot raise him once they begin to draw 3 to 6 cards for turn. Luckily for me, there was the first time for two Narcissus playing the deck, and he made some subpar decisions, even on keeping little hands, on mulligan decisions, and on play games that let me survive thanks to lots of discard and him finding not the replenish. I can win game 1, and also I can win game 2 after he mulligans a couple of times, if I recall correctly. He placing 1 Argothian Enchantress as his only engine, game plan, whatever, and me having the Plague in my hand. So, first time since I played the deck, I can win Enchantress. I think it's hard for me to repeat it, but at least I have won once. And in round 5, after the raffle, I am paired against Alex Carvajo playing Elves. As I stated before, that pairing revolves around 1 single card, Engineered Plague. First game, we can win, we can lose. That's more 50-50, no, 60-40 for Elves, maybe. It's hard for us to win. We have no Pernicious Deed. We are slow. He can overrun us with loads and loads of little critters and win. But once we sight, and we sight the 2 Smothers, 2 to 3 Naturalizes, the Faithless Butcher, and the 4 Engineered Plague, man, the pairing shifts completely. I would say that is an 80-20 for us. And this is an 80-20 for us because we do not play 1, 2, or 3 engineered plague copies, but we play 4. So our will to draw them are higher than in other decks. And I wanna say that when I picked up the deck for the first time, I played in the side 3 engineered plagues and 1, I don't know which it said in English, this Putapeste in Italian, that 1 black, 2 colorless, 2 creatures that at the beginning of your upkeep does 1 damage to all, and if he dies, does another damage to all. I don't remember his name in English, but because it was searchable with the Survival of the Fittest. But I realized after playing it 2 to 3 times that it's better to go straight for the Engineered Plague and land the Engineered Plague, because it serves better against goblins than the creature, and because it doesn't kill your Birds of Paradise, your Mesmeric Friends. Your Dranged Hermits shouldn't be on your side of the table once you have sided, because they are elves. Take it into account. But there's no reason for me to play the creature, and for me it's better to play the 4 engineered plagues. And that's how the 5th round went. It is uploaded, and if it's not right now, it will be soon uploaded on the YouTube channel, the video of that round, because it was recorded and uploaded. So I ended this Swiss part of the tournament 5-0, the only 5-0 player, being the first seed on the top 8, and with a deck that I really wasn't prepared to play, because I thought up to the same morning of the tournament that I was gonna play Devourer. Not bad for a bunch of green and red cards that discard and blocks. So we went to the top 8, and the top 8 was filled with my recurring survival deck, an enchantress deck, 2 copies of elves, the one I played in the Swiss and another one, 10 land Stompy made to the top 8 also, enchantress thing I have told it, blue-green Storm, a variant of Frantic Storm that plays green to play Will Growths, and I don't know if any other card. And I'm leaving, and and mono blue Stifling Out. And mono blue Stifling Out was the deck I was facing in the top 8. I am on the play. There are good news. I will be on the play during the whole top 8. That's good news for me, because I can always begin with turn 1 Birds of Paradise or turn 1 Dures, and that being on the play is more awesome than being on the draw. Playing against Dreadnought, I do prefer beginning with Dures, and that's how I began, and I saw a very weak hand with lots of manipulation, 2 to 3 spells of manipulation, 1 or 2 counters, 2 lands and a stifle, and I picked up the stifle. And then after 12 or 13 turns of game, my opponent, Samu Lopez, did not draw 1 single copy of the Dreadnought, and I won. Second game was more or less the same, but he drew the Dreadnoughts, but I had Chaos Therapies. So the best way to win Mono Blue Dreadnought is not letting him land a Dreadnought against you. Sure, they have the Misrus Factory, but I think we can all agree that a Mirror Factory against a deck with 7 walls, lots of other creatures, and also a Faithless Butcher, no, sorry, and Naturalizes, it's and the Smothers, because there are the cards that I said in. That's not good news for him if he has to kill us with Mirror's Factory. So I advanced to the top 4, and on the top 4 I played against Alex Jimenez, playing the before commented blue-green Storm. As I said, there is a mono-blue Frantic Storm with their 8 medallions, their meditates, their frantic searches, and green at least for Utopia's Sprawl. I don't know if they play any other green card, I did not show any other, but at least for the Utopia's Sprawl he played green, and also he played suppose a couple of Teferi Sisal, because that's a very good land to play the turn you're gonna combo, because if you begin have another tap land for 2 manas that you are gonna untap with Fairy Conclave, with the Fairy, I don't remember now, Fairy Conclave? No, Fairy Conclave is the land, with the Fairies, that the only creature the deck brings, or with the Frantic Searches, it gives you a lot of mana in your combo turn. And here the game plan is exactly the same that always. I'm gonna discard you, and in this time I'm gonna try to raise, because I don't wanna give you lots of time to recover your card advantage and combo me. That Storm deck, if has not enough cards in hand, is capable of fizzling, because you must be drawing and discarding with your frantic searches, so that's card disadvantage. You are gonna do some cantrips that are not card advantage. You are not advancing cards, you are replacing cards and wasting mana. So if you don't have enough mana, you are gonna cards in hand, you can fizzle and lose. That's how it went, and here was the round where Tempting Worm shined, because I could land it once I saw his hand and being attacked, racing as an animal to end the round as fast as I could. So we are in the finals now, and in the finals we are facing Elves. And as I have said for my round 5 report, Elves is the matchup that goes up to 1 single card. Lleague. That match is also recorded, will be streamlined next week, but I can spoiler you a couple of things. First is that the first game was really strange based in some decisions that I did not understand by my rival, Jaume Aguilar, a great friend of mine. But he ended up winning because loads of creatures are unstoppable for me. But second and third games were won just by landing 1 or 2 E-plagues on game. So I ended up becoming the LCOS June winner. Winner, chicken dinner. And I went home with my 4th patch of the year, my 2nd playmat of the year, because on April I won the tournament with the Bowler, and with lots of good memories and lots of things to explain to you in that report. If you have arrived up to here, I hope you have understood me well. Again, I hope my English is not as bad as I think. I only wish that you can understand what I'm saying and you enjoy what I am saying. And if this is the case, I will do more episodes in English. See you the next time. Go, go, go!